Okay, so my name is Maria, and how many of you know what Day of the Dead is? So this is a picture of an altar or shrine, and I will talk about it later. This is my sister wearing a velvet for Day of the Dead. So, according to the CDI, or Comisión Nacional para el Desarrollo de los Pueblos Indígenas, which is a bunch of Spanish to the Indigenous Commission Development by the government, the Day of the Dead traces back to Aztecs in Mexico, and it was celebrated in August at the end of the harvest season. And it wasn't until the conquistadores came to Mexico that they switched the Day of the Dead from August to November 1st to coincide with the All Saints Day and the Roman Catholic thing. So as the two cultures combined and clashed, November 1st was dedicated to All Saints Day, which is meant for children, and November 2nd is All Souls Day, which is Day of the Dead for adults. And your fun fact of the day, according to Regina Marchi, author of Day of the Dead and former professor of mine, in her book she states that Hernan Cortez, a Spanish conquistador, was the first to document the celebration of Day of the Dead in Tenochtitlan, Mexico, which is present-day Mexico City, and reported back to the King of Spain. I thought that was pretty cool. So I know here many of us have either lost someone we loved or know someone that lost somebody. So this is a different way to look at death, and maybe in a positive way. Instead of being sad and depressed, you can celebrate them and be happy. It's just a different way to approach death. So celebrating Day of the Dead is wonderful. It's wonderful with the little background materials and steps needed to make your own altar. So putting together an altar is a form of celebrating and honoring the dead, and what better way to do it than with a shrine. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about a little background, materials you need for an altar and steps. So background. This is coming from my mom. So when she was little, she would make pan de muerto, which is bread for Day of the Dead, and it's supposed to be a skull and crossbones, so you can just use your imagination. This is supposed to be bones, that's supposed to be the skull. And they would bake this in the morning with my grandmother and everybody in the town. And in the evening, the kids would go trick-or-treating for bread. And this was a way to get the kids out of the house so that the women of the home can make dishes for the Day of the Dead dinner. So my grandmother would make a traditional plate of mole, which is chicken smothered in chili chocolate sauce, and chiles rellenos, which is literally stuffed peppers. And my grandfather would gather around the drinks, which involved beer and tequila and soft drinks for kids. So when the kids were done trick-or-treating, they would come back home and they would all gather their stuff together and make their way to the cemetery. And once at the cemetery, they would clean the tombstone and the tomb itself and make like a picnic. So they would literally set the dinner table on top of the tomb and bring a candle, which is what will guide the spirit from wherever they are to where you are, and water, which will ground the spirit. Then they would present the food, and then then they present the food and music and any other offerings they have for that day. And it was just a moment of celebration, and you get to feel the person is with you for one more day. And I love it. It's my favorite holiday. So, so now materials. So I suggest you use a picture of the deceased. This is my grandfather and my great-grandmother, his mother, and a candle, so the soul can be guided to where you are. A glass of water, so they can be grounded. Their favorite dish. Flowers. The traditional flower of Day of the Dead is cempasúchil, which are marigolds. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a clay figurine. And I'm Catholic, so we have religious images. You do not have to be religious to celebrate this or do this, but we are. That's why that's there. So last but not least are the steps. So the top picture is my very first altar, and as you can see, I have a picture of my grandfather. Then this is a candle, and then water. So those are the two main things you want, and then followed by food and oranges. He used to love oranges. These little animal crackers were his favorite, and I put a Modelo Cerveza there and Coca-Cola. And then this was 2 years ago. I added my great-grandmother when she passed away, and of course it got bigger as I learned more about Day of the Dead. And I added a jack-o'-lantern, maize, and it's just more stuff. And then this one was from last year, and I added my great-grandfather to it. And it gets more elaborate. So the difference between these two is that here, everybody had a shot of tequila, and since there's 3 people now, I added a bottle of tequila. So you want to, it's just pretend they're there. I mean, it has a lot more marigolds, and it's really up to you and how you want to decorate your own effect. And I personally just love it. So here you can, I don't know if you can see that, this is supposed to be bread. I'm sorry, it's just a not too clear image. But there's bread, there's food, there's snacks, there's flowers, there's a lot of candles, there's water, and all of your basic materials and elements are present, and, you know, it's awesome. So, when to set up your altar. So you want to set this up the day of, the day before. I like to set it up a week before, because it's Halloween and you get into the spirit. Where to set it up? We have a counter and then we have a bar. So I take the space of the bar, and I like to set it up there because nobody can touch it and it's not in anybody's way. And little kids don't get into it, which is the main part. And how to set it up? Well, I just told you, you know, how to set up everything, and you can basically see it. So to conclude, I hope that with listing a little background and the materials and steps, you will be able to make your own altar shrine and honor the people who have passed in your lives in a celebratory way, and just bring happy memories and get to know them very well. And what I like to say about Day of the Dead is that my grandfather passed away 47 years ago, going on 48. My dad was 2, so he barely met him. And because of this holiday, my great-grandmother celebrated this, and she got to tell my dad what his father was like and how he was and who he was. And when I started growing up and I was interested in it, I started making a shrine too. And my dad was able to tell me, along with my grandfather, my great-grandmother before she passed away, what my grandfather liked, what his attitude was like, his food, his preference in sports. And even though I never got to meet him, I actually have a connection with him, and I feel that I know him. And just because he's dead and not physically here doesn't mean that I don't know him. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can make a mass battle shrine for somebody who's passed and move on and just pass on who they were and what they like to people who don't know them. So, thank you.